Songs of the outback and songs of the town that were written by masters of pen. Now Patterson wrote us a national anthem. I wish they'd play Waltz in Matilda again.
I'm Willie Lott Nelson and I'm from Lightning Ridge, New South Wales.
Willie Hackett, Joey Hackett, I'm his wife.
Eddie Webb and 72 and from Lightning Ridge.
Willie, 2.5 years ago, had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. We had to get to Sydney within 2 days or he would have died. His PET scan showed up extremely red and they got him into RPA cancer ward the next day.
Cancer in the kidney, had the specialists in Dubbo removed the faulty kidney, and then just ongoing backwards forwards here into Walgett and Dubbo, continually having the appointments. Had a tumour diagnosed again in the internal guts there, and they've removed that as well in Dubbo.
Now, we left here with very little money because it's expensive, and to go by bus to Sydney, to Dubbo, and train to Sydney and arrive there after 12 hours for someone who's very, very ill was very difficult. Then you've got to get accommodation to do. We were lucky the first time that the Cancer Foundation did assist us with a lot of stuff for the first one. But if you could have gone to Dubbo and had the PET scan, we wouldn't have had all of that to happen. And they said if he hadn't have been there, he'd had 2 weeks to live.
I've done everything the doctor said to do. Didn't mess around. If they said be there, I was there. I didn't mess around. I just did everything they said. All the medication they told me to take, I stick to it, spot on. And just do what they say. And
he got over the initial non-Hodgkin's, he's in remission. But then we went to Dubbo 2.5 weeks ago, had a CT scan, and he was wrongly diagnosed with a mass in one lung and a shadow in the other. And we had to get to Sydney, like, straight away.
Well, the lady said that I had lung cancer. She said, I haven't got any more Hodgkin's disease, but unfortunately I've got to tell you, you've got lung cancer.
So we had to wait and then to see the lung specialist in Dubbo, who said we had to go and get a PET scan, and that was organised really quickly, and thank God for Angel Flight, who assisted us to go down there and back.
And now next year they're talking about sending me to Sydney for more scanning, and there's no way we can afford to go to Sydney. What do we do? Today I've got scripts now for chemo tablets. So I've got to take them now for probably about 8 months on and off. So hopefully to try and avoid having to go to Sydney.
But they got us down there, and then he was told that it was a slight infection in one lung that had almost disappeared. So we went through 2 weeks of emotional hell, thinking that we were going to go and get a death sentence. And if we could have had the PET scan in Dubbo, that would have been non-existent. We wouldn't have had the turmoil of thinking he was dying for the 2 weeks. And it's taken its toll on Willie, because he just can't stop crying, not knowing now that he has not got cancer in the lungs.
Well, the distance and time and cost. Most people that got the cancer are on a pension and can't afford it. And that's why there was some woman the other day, cancer, she said, I'm not going to die, I can't afford to go, I'm not going. So what will she do? Just die because she can't afford to go?
And on the way back on the Angel Flight, we were at 7,000 or 8,000 feet, and Willie had a small oxygen bottle with him, and it ran out, and I had to tap the pilot on the shoulder because his lips went blue, he went grey, and he fell forward. So the pilot had to land at Gunday Airport, and we had 2 ambulances there with the sirens going because he was dying right in front of my eyes, all because of not being able just to go to Dubbo and have a PET scan.
If Dubbo is not a problem, but I mean there's still a cost in it, but I mean that's Sydney, it's out of the question. How do you get down there? And where do you stay when you get there? How long would it have to be down there? Where it would, you know, accommodation, all costs. What do you do? The trouble is, just to go to Dubbo, it always costs anywhere from $400 or $500 each time you do it. You know, one thing leads to another, extra costs for meals and things like that. But Dubbo, I won't complain about having to go to Dubbo.
But I sort of gave up. When she said I had lung cancer, I gave up. I didn't want to eat. And I lost 17 kilos. I just wanted to get off the planet.
He actually asked a friend of ours for a gun because he didn't want to live with the knowledge he was going to die of lung cancer, and he didn't even have it. And the PET scan was there. We'd have found out that day he didn't have it. And that would have saved us 2 weeks of hell, you know.
I think it's the worst thing you can be told, to have lung cancer. It's terrible. That's the pits, it's terrible.
When you didn't have it.
When I didn't have it. And if we'd have had a PET scan machine in Dubbo, we'd have found instantly that
it was just a slight infection.
It was a little lung infection, yeah.
Don't cry. Don't cry, Don. As you can see, it's left him a bit of an emotional wreck. And he wasn't like this before. Even after the non-Hodgkin's, he wasn't like this.
No.
It was the wrong diagnosis of the lung cancer that has just brought him right down.
No.
All of my life, mate, I've been a Matilda, raised on fair dinkum, and how are you, mate? We came from all over the world to this country. Wake up, Australia, before it's too late. Have you ever sat down in a strange country town, looked around and decided what now? Were you sure to quit? Was it the right thing you did? Or you don't give a damn anyhow?
Wayne Kennedy. I've come from Walgett. Yeah, I've tongue cancer. It's under my tongue and it's gone down. They found a couple more seeds on the left and right my throat.
I'm Dr. Rana Sharif. I'm currently working here in Walgett, New South Wales for nearly last 7 months. We moved to Walgett in May this year, and when we started our career in general practice, and me and my wife, Dr. Nazia, both moved together with our family. It's a small town that's about 280 km west of Dubbo, and it's a peripheral town, and about 60% of the population is Aboriginal.
About a week in Westmead. You know, I'd go back down in on January 11th next year for more operations to get 2 more lymph nodes cut out.
Especially the problem starts right at the time when we say to the patient, look, I'm not happy with some of the physical findings and I need to do further investigations. And when I break this news that unfortunately these tests are not available here in Walgett, and for that you will have to travel to Dubbo or go to Sydney, this is the time when actually patient starts becomes worried and he's distressed because it's a big travel. It's minimum 280 km on a country road, going for an investigations when already patient is in some pain, in some distress, and when we ask them that they need to go, so they find it really very hard.
Oh, fuel and like money wise is main thing. I just asked around brothers and sisters, that's it. Like if cash fill the fuel up for a year, then you pay for the rest on the way down and back. We'll do about 200-300.
So now the good thing is one of the oncologists from Dubbo, he has started providing services in the town, and people are quite happy with that, and we are having regular follow-ups. And a few patients that we recently diagnosed in the last couple of weeks, they're on the right track from the very beginning, and early peak, early diagnosis, early in the hands of oncologist, early therapy. So overall we think that outcome will be much better.
In terms of follow-up, like if they are arranging for some PET scan or some sort of follow-up studies for comparison or to see the progression of the cancer, I think patient have to go to Sydney, if I'm not wrong. And I would rather say, like, if we have some facilities closer, might be in Dubbo, for this sort of follow-up scan, that will be really grateful. Like, they stress out when they have to go to Sydney, especially because of some are aged, some are already struggling with their diseases, and they find it hard when they have to go to Sydney, especially. For Dubbo, they feel like good.
It's not that like they don't want to, it's like the problems they face when they need to go out of the town.
Exactly.
They don't have resources and they don't have money to fulfill all these expenses.
Where do you come from, mate? What is your name? Straight away you're the part of the mob. There's some shit work out west, though the pay ain't the best. I'll try, mate, and get you a job.
So I'm Florian Honeyball, I'm the medical oncologist in town. I've been in Dubbo now for 7 months, and I'm Dubbo's first medical oncologist. I do outreach clinics to Walgett, Cobar and Mudgee, and hoping to expand services through telehealth, video conferencing, and also hopefully getting some video chemotherapy up and running in the next couple of years. So living in Dubbo provides challenges not just to me but also to my patients. There's been difficulties in continuity of care thus far before my coming here, and I think being able to provide a continual service to my patients has made things a bit easier for them, that their treatment doesn't feel like it's being chopped and changed all the time, and they're getting a consistent person to bounce ideas off and bounce their fears and their worries off. But I think also Dubbo Base Hospital doesn't just provide services to the town and the surrounding regions, it also provides services to people living far beyond Dubbo and its city council boundaries, and in fact we've got patients travelling over the Queensland border for treatment down here. Having to travel 400 kilometres each way for your treatment not just is expensive and time consuming for people, but it also takes them away from their family and support structures and into a foreign environment. So trying to provide oncology services down here is difficult, not just for the patients but also for their families and their entire town as they try and rally around them to give them as much support as possible. That's just getting them to Dubbo. If there's a service which needs to be provided which is not available in town, then usually that means another 150 kilometres to Orange or 400 kilometres down to Sydney. And Sydney is a very different place to Dubbo. It's not the place where their family or their kids have moved to. They generally don't have a lot of experience in Sydney, and the traffic, I'm told, is nightmarish. So taking someone out of a rural environment and not even just taking them to a regional centre like Dubbo, but moving them to a big metropolis like Sydney is quite foreign and quite scary.
My name is Robin Payne, born 23rd of the 8th 1954. I was born at Nyngan, and then I left school, went to do Karitani nursing, left that and went to do EEN. I got a medical background, and then I was working as the first Aboriginal ACAT assessor when I was first diagnosed. I had a friend, Nola Dixon, who used to work for Dubbo. She had the breast cancer van there, and I just went over there to make up the numbers because we were good friends, and then they diagnosed me with breast cancer there. I didn't believe them. I didn't hinder their letters or anything they sent out to me. I just chucked them away, and so they rang me at work and said it's pretty important that you come down. So I went down. I thought, oh well, if they're ringing me at work, it's got to be important. So I went down and they said, yeah, you got breast. So I had a biopsy, and yeah, and they referred me to Dr. Fisher, and now I've got a double mastectomy. First off, I had a lumpectomy, which didn't go very well, and because my breast kept swelling and bleeding and all the traumas with that and everything, and we didn't think it was ever going to get any better. And then I went in and had a mastectomy on the left side first. It didn't heal up, it took ages and ages, and then I said to Dr. Fish, I said, we might as well cut the right one off just for safety measures. And we just had another scare, we thought might have had secondary throat cancer, because I got nodules on my thyroid, and the nodule that's growing there is cutting off my esophagus and my windpipe, and that, so I've got to go in and have that all removed, and that, but thank God, touch wood, it's not cancerous, so yeah.
I'm Robin Payne's son, the lady who was previously just interviewed before me. After a while they start to lose their train of thought, where they put their pack of cigarettes, or they left their cup of tea, or they left their car keys. It's very hard and depressing, especially when you have to deal with the cleaning up or the cooking and everything else. But with the early detection, with the positron emission tomography machine, that would have been found before, and maybe this cancer of Robin's wouldn't have been so severe.
I had my chemotherapy here in Dubbo, but my radiation, I had to travel to Orange for that. I was down there for 6 weeks. So yeah, and that's a long time to be away from home and not see your family or anything like that. I mean, you do have lonely days, you do have nights where you cry and that, you think, oh, why me? And, you know, so, yeah, but I've just come to learn to live with it now, so, yeah, I just take it in my stride, so, because I look at it and think, oh, well, there's worse people off out there than me.
Epitas and all the government organisations require them to pay up front first, which, as we know, the bottom line is they don't have the money to pay up front first. That is the whole reason why they seek government funding.
Well, with the Aboriginals, they don't sort of have the money to travel. They do need a machine here that detects the early onset of cancer, because the majority of them are at stage 4 or stage 5, which is a bit too late. Like, we lost a gentleman here not very long ago, age 46, with stage 5 lung cancer, and I mean 46 is a young age. So yeah, so we do need that machine to detect it early. We do need more funding for our Aboriginal people that have to travel away, because with Epitas you have to have the money up front, and Aboriginal people don't have that sort of money lying around. And then we thought of doing an Aboriginal awareness group on support for Aboriginal people and their carers who have got cancer and come along, and we just sit around and we yarn and then we try and put things into place for them. We meet every 3rd month, and like we'll ring up the doctors for them, or we'll go to appointments with them, and we follow their journey right from the start right through to the end. Whether they're a survivor or whether they die, we just follow it straight through with them. Yeah, we go to appointments, we go to their home, we meet with them anywhere they want to meet. If they want to meet on the riverbank, we'll meet with them on the riverbank and talk about it, so it's their choice. We don't make choices for them, we just sit there and listen to them.
Everybody's affected by cancer, regardless of who you are, whether you're black, white, Indigenous, Indian, Asian, Chinese, Arabic. At the end of the day, you're not safe. You're not immune to cancer. But there is hope, and where there is hope, there is life.
I'm Marjorie Stevens. I'm 63 years old.
Ronald Stevens, I'm 61, full-time carer of Marge, my wife, and we also live in Dubbo. We've been here since 1996.
95, wasn't it?
95, 96.
I have many medical problems. I had to go down to Sydney and have a PET scan done. Oh, I was scared. For a start, I'm on oxygen. And just to go to Sydney, I've got to take the big oxygen tank. I've got to take a portable oxygen cylinder. Then I've got to take what else do I have to take? A CPAP machine for breathing at night. All my stuff to do with the diabetes. You know, it's a mammoth job. Just to get all that in the car, and then Ron to get me in the car, is not, and me sitting in the car for 6 to 7 hours is just almost unbelievable. By the time we get there, I'm just about screaming in pain, and I just want to get out.
In the old days, and that you used to be able to make the trip in about 5.5 hours, but the last trip we did, it took 7 and a bit hours. Had to go down the night before. The appointment was at 9 o'clock in the morning. We had to stay overnight. The motel room was 240, I think it was. That was with a loyalty sort of discount, because we've been there a couple of times. Then you got petrol and stuff on top of that, which in this day and age is never cheap, especially out here. They talk about the petrol cycle in the city. It doesn't happen out here. And by midday we were back on the road, having had, or Marge having had her scan, and we had the results in our hand. So travel wise, it took us 7 hours to get down there, or 7 and a bit hours, another 7.5 to come back for a 3-hour appointment. If you could take a plane and that, it would be nice, but the oxygen concentrator, the main one, you've got probably 15 to 20 kilos in weight.
So a PET CT scanner is a machine which provides information about the activity of cells. In the cancer setting, what this means is we're able to delineate the difference between an abnormality on a CT scan, which might well be benign, versus something which looks more aggressive and something more like a cancer. PET CT is able to tell the difference between something which is benign and something which is more aggressive by looking at how much sugar goes into the cells. We inject patients with a sugar which has a radioactive isotope attached to it, and we're able to see where this concentrates. This will concentrate in very active cells, such as cancer cells, and be able to tell the difference between whether a spot on a CT scan is malignant or cancerous, or is something benign or non-cancerous. What a PET scanner in Dubbo will provide for not just Dubbo but the surrounding areas is an imaging modality which is able to provide that delineation. It's not just in diagnosis or early diagnosis for cancers, but it's also for monitoring cancer and seeing what the response to treatment is. Currently in melanoma treatment, you'd be looking at getting 4 to 6 PET scans per year to be able to tell whether the new checkpoint inhibitors such as pembrolizumab are having an effect on the cancer. In a big city hospital like Royal Prince Alfred or St Vincent's, that's what would happen. A patient would get a PET scan every 4 to 6 months to be able to tell the difference between how active these lesions are. But here in Dubbo, we don't have the PET CTs. I have one person who's able to do it, and for the other people I've got on treatment, I make do with CT scans and take an educated guess.
If we had the PET scanner here in Dubbo, you'd have a 9 o'clock appointment, you'd leave here at 8:45, by 9 o'clock you're there. Marge has a dye or whatever it is they put in there, the radioactive dye. I could go up to a shop, have a cup of coffee, come back, pick her up, and we're home.
I could deal with the suspected cancer without the having to go down to Sydney all the time for PET scans. That is the thing that's bothering them the most. Well, I've always believed over the last year, this might be my last year on Earth, my last Christmas, we've had to be realistic about that because of my heart and my lungs to start with, which is very hard because we've been married for 40 years. And it's really distressing to me to say this, but I've got to be realistic. I mean, and now I've got this suspected cancer, he could be very aggressive, I don't know. So my feelings may have come to fruition. And so I want to spend as much time as I can with the family and not travelling to Sydney all the time for PET scans. You know, otherwise I've got the family here, my sons, my grandchildren, and all I want to spend time with them and not having to travel so far just to have one test done.
Cancer is starting to spread like a wildflower now between Indigenous people.
There's that many people around the place with this cancer now. I don't know what they're going to do if they've got to go to Sydney.
This area needs a PET scan machine. It's a very high cancer area for some reason.
So why can't we get this facility into the country? Good people can go to that from all directions around here now. If we had it in Dubbo.
Still human beings.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter whether it's Walgett or Backenberg. They're still humans that need servicing, eh?
Cancer, you don't die from cancer, so not if you detect it early enough, and that's why I reckon that PET scan would be good here in Dubbo.
Cancer is treatable as long as it's caught early. Now, if we catch it early with a PET machine, which is what the machine's designed to do, then we can save hundreds, if not thousands of lives.
Sydney? I don't want to even think about it. I don't know what I'll do if I've got to go to Sydney.
It'd be a lot easier for me to go to Dubbo than Sydney because Sydney's too far.
All the politicians see this and realise what a strain it is on ordinary people just to survive the cancer trip, which is not a really nice club to belong to.
No, it's pretty horrible. Pretty horrible, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I've just got to get over it now.
You will.